Good morning, my name's Arthur Rain. I'm 68 years old and I run a company currently called ISIS Electronics, which I've had since 1996. I've been doing electronics since the age of about 8 or 9, thoroughly enjoy it, and have worked in the defence industry and mainly for scientific work in general. That's it really, and I just enjoy electronics. I currently make two items really. A thing called a laser refractometer, which was developed by National Physical Laboratory, and another device called the Rebox, which is an electrotherapy unit that we sell mainly in Japan. Life's a bit strange. I got into both products merely by accident. One because a company that used to make the whole refractometer went broke and I took it over as I did the electronics before. And the other one because I met someone courtesy of a company called Epsom UK who do printers and things, and they wanted us to modify one of their computers and I ended up redesigning it. So the Rebox looks like this, that's the electrotherapy unit, and the refractometer has some bits like this. It's called a gas cell and a controller board. We design all the mechanics, electronics, software and printed circuit boards for both devices in actual fact. The refractometer uses the clever scheme developed by the National Physical Laboratory to measure the difference in refractive indices of two gases, and we back calculate from that the concentration of the appropriate gas that we're trying to measure. In this case it's an anaesthetic gas used by an anaesthetist for vets etc. when you go under the knife for surgery. This is our somewhat basic workshop where we make prototypes or examples of what we wish to start off manufacturing, and then somebody who's better than I can make the proper version. However, this is a mill, it's got digital readout, just simply drill holes at the appropriate place on the digital readout, complicatedly by pressing a button. And hopefully it'll drill a hole about 10 mils deep. Okay, this is where we make our printed circuit boards with all the components on. I don't actually make it because my soldering's rubbish, but my colleague called Tony does. He's not here at the moment. And we use these obviously to magnify things, especially when you get old and your eyes are rubbish. And so you just do this, clearly looks it, and here's soldering iron that you would use to solder the joints. Okay, so these are bits of the refractometer, not yet assembled. This is a thing called a retro reflector, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And that goes at the one end of the cell, and the photo block, which I was drilling before, goes at that end, launches the laser into it, and we have detectors that go to that circuit and do the analysis. I don't know if you can see this, but can you get a picture inside that retro reflector? Can you see inside it on your phone? As I turn it, you notice you still see the same image of the phone, even though I'm reflecting it back at different angles. They are like this, that's what they look like. And those are the panels of these have been put on the moon by the astronauts, and it's these devices that reflect the laser back to the Earth when they try to measure the distance of the Earth from the moon. It's because whatever angle it hits it at, it always comes back at that angle. And these are devices that hold it in place, and they were made on the machines you saw earlier, and they just pop in. Right, this is an earlier refractometer. There's the corner cube that reflects things back the way they came that I explained earlier. That's a gas cell. This is the photo block. That's the laser. And this device here, which separates the beams into two and then recombines them, is called a Jaman block. And these are the signals that go out to the board and the laser drive circuitry. At the tender age of 68, I guess I have to consider what's going to happen when I finally retire or depart the Earth. And so for the refractometers, I have a deal going on with one of my colleagues in America, and we're going to basically retire, take some of the profit, and his company will carry on making and servicing them. For the Rebox, I have another deal going on with my colleague who's my same age, is going to retire, and his company in Japan will take over the manufacture supply, and we'll hopefully get a bit of a royalty out of that. That's all I've managed to organise so far. You may note none of these companies are in the EU.